Hello YouTubers, this is Joe Bravo and Mo Bravo's Knife Reviews. Today I have my new Chris Reeves 31 Sebenza, and got this from a buddy of mine, Pasquale, who gave me a kick-ass deal. And this is my second Chris Reeves knife. My first one is my CRK Inkosi. And it's really important to talk about the Inkosi when talking about the 31. We all know the 21 Sebenza that's been the staple for over 25 years. Well, during that 25-year anniversary, they came out with the Chris Reeves 25, which had some significant improvements. And from that 25, they migrated it into the Inkosi. That is a specific ceramic detent and a couple of other things that I'm not prepared for to talk to you about right now. But this is my CRK 31 Sebenza that was basically the improvement to the 21. For instance, this uses the ceramic ball detent, and one of the other items that were prevalent on the Inkosi that wasn't on the 21, a lot of people complained that the pocket clip would provide pressure on the lock bar, thus making it very difficult to deploy the knife. And what they did in the 31, they modified it and canted it slightly so that it resides on the scale and not on the lock bar anymore. This is your prototypical Chris Reeves CPM 35V. It's between 59 and 60 Rockwell, so it's a fairly hard version of the S35 steel. The scales are made out of titanium with a little bit of a rougher finish than what is normally seen in the milled finish with these titanium liners that you see in the titanium scales. The blade is 3.5 inches long. Both of these are configured in drop point. The 31 is only available in drop point, where the Inkosi is available in Insigno blade, which is a modified sheep's foot, and the Tanto blade, which I know is very prevalent in the CRK Zon. I had an Inkosi Tanto, but I traded it, and it wasn't because there was anything inferior with the knife. It's just that I didn't care for the Tanto style shape of the blade. Some of the other differences that you could see, the Inkosi utilizes the silver hardware, where the 31s and the new Inkosis for that matter utilize the blue anodized hardware and the blue anodized backspacer lanyard holder. Some of the differences, if you look at the back side, the Inkosi does have the double stud, so if you were left-handed and you got the Inkosi, you could certainly deploy it with a left-handed deployment, something that I'm not familiar with. It does have the hydraulic-like action that everybody knows and loves with their Chris Reeves knives. It is very, very smooth. I know I opened it up before using the Spidey flick method, which is a no-no, but either way you feel comfortable flicking it or opening it, it is a real pleasure. There's a lot of controversy right now with where CRK is and their price point, but what I have to say is that the lockup on these knives are absolutely fantastic. One of the other differences, main differences that I haven't mentioned, is the Inkosi has a pivot that has the ability to be tuned. So if you want it to tweak that action, whether you want it to flick open or be hydraulic, you can adjust the pivot to your liking. Add a little bit of Loctite, a little bit of grease, and you could really slick it up to be the kind of action you wish, whereas the CRK31 does not have the tunable pivot, and it is only able to be set in one specific spot. And as such, the Sebenza action is the Sebenza action, and if you don't like it, you know, please buy an Inkosi. There's nothing wrong with it, you know, and it just lends itself to the differences between the knives and the similarities. You know, as I said, they're both drop points, but the blade stock on the 31 is noticeably thinner than the Inkosi, which really makes the 31 a much better slicer, whereas the Inkosi could be determined as the, you know, better workhorse knife, as in, you know, typical Chris Reeves fashion. The centering is absolutely perfect, and you know, I'm really thrilled with both of these knives. Something that again I have not mentioned is that the pocket clip on my 31 is a Lynch style pocket clip, and I really like it because it gives you the deep carry that really sits nice and high in the pocket, which you know, I could wear that all day in a pair of jeans or a pair of 511 tactical pants and have no problem that I have, you know, what equates to a 3.5-inch blade there. I have not given the standard pocket clip much mileage, but you know, I will tell you, if given the what would you recommend, I would certainly say the Lynch clip has my favor at this point. Something else to touch upon: the Chris Reeves knives are made in Idaho, United States, and they offer a tremendous warranty and spa service. You buy their knives first-hand, second-hand, it doesn't matter, and you could ship it to them and they will sharpen the knife for free. All you have to do is pay for the return shipping. You could also inquire about the Chris Reeves spa service. What that says is, if you haven't made any major modifications to the knife, you could send it in, and again, for free, they can freshen up the knife, whether that is redoing the scales, retumbling the knife blade, sharpening it. Sometimes they will replace hardware. I myself have not had the opportunity to take use of the spa treatment, but I do think I might send the the Inkosi in to get freshened up a little bit. Something else, again, just to talk about the differences. The 31 is the same size Allen key throughout the entire knife, whereas because of that tunable pivot tool, you could see that the CRK pivot is a different Allen key size. And, you know, with all CRK knives, they really want you to break down the knife and to, you know, maintain it. And they give you all the Allen keys that you need for each one. They give you Loctite, and they give you the special Chris Reeves grease that you're supposed to use. Both these knives do run on phosphor bronze washers, and I'm not sure if your camera is going to pick it up or not, but the phosphor bronze washers in the Inkosi are oversized, and you know, really lends itself to be tuned and tweaked, and a very smooth hydraulic action that I've really been enjoying. The last thing I'm going to do is provide you a comparison between the Paramilitary 2, and I want to provide a comparison between the Vero Engineering Impulse, and then lastly I'm going to provide you the Microtech Sigil. And it's funny to see how multiple knives in multiple high iron steels, specifically not taking the Paramilitary into consideration, but you know, here you have 3 separate knife design companies that are all using high-end steel, titanium scales, and a you know, a pivoting method, whether that is phosphor bronze washers like you see in the CRK, or the bearings that you see in the Varo Impulse and the Microtech. Now this guy's brand new, so he is a little stiff sigil. And it's just really nice to see how some modern takes of what Chris Reeve's been doing for the last 25 years has really allowed the rest of the market to kind of catch up to where Chris Reeve has been. I mean, the lockup on the Varo Impulse is fantastic. The lockup on the sigil, and it's funny because this knife was made in 2014 to 2017 and has been discontinued. And I really just think that that is a real stellar knife that if you don't have it in your collection, you might be missing out a little bit. I know this is getting a little long-winded, and I'm going to wrap it up now. But what you're looking at, for all intensive purposes, are 4 knives, all in that $400 price point for getting a very, very quality knife, using titanium, using higher end steel, and just really being workhorse knives that you could use, you know, now, let's say, you know, the next 30 years with these steels and with the titanium and what little bit of maintenance you need. Any of these choices would be a great, you know, selection for your EDC carry, or just for an addition to your collection. Well, thank you very much for stopping by, and look forward to seeing you next time.